Mhm. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Designer Discussions Marketing Makeover Masterclass. I'm Jason, and I'm joined here by Miriam. I'll do a brief intro into who I am, and I'll turn it over to Miriam so she can introduce who she is and also get into the presentation. So, for all of you all who do not know me, I'm uh, Jason Lockhart. As I said, I actually own a marketing agency called Kitchen and Bath Marketing Solutions. So my background is actually architecture and have an architecture firm here within the Dallas area. And how I got into marketing because I taught marketing at LSU because I used to teach in the school of architecture at LSU and taught a marketing class. Went I applied a lot of that to an architecture firm, heard from one of the designers here, and they asked me to help them out, had success, and then had referrals and over time opened up an agency. So that's what we do here. And what has happened over the years is that we've learned that a lot of designers that want to do their own marketing and don't want to hire an agency need help. And so that was the impetus for us to create Designer Discussions podcast. And then from that, we came into the academy. And so now we have the masterclass. So that's just a little on me and how we came to be. And now I'll hand it over to Miriam.
All right. My name is Miriam Lipuner, and Jason and I have been partners in business for a number of years now, right? The podcast has been going for 3 years or so.
Mhm.
And Jason is the marketing mastermind, and I am the PR expert. And my background is that I'm originally from Europe, but I've lived in the States for well over 20 years. And when I moved here 23 years ago or so, I started working for a Kohler company in the kitchen and bath division. And my background was that my previous experience was in PR already in Europe. But I worked and led the Kohler kitchen and bath PR department for almost 15 years. And when I left there 7, 8 years ago, I started consulting. So I run a boutique PR agency. It's called Getting DIY. And I specialize in working with clients from the home design and building products industry. So kitchen and bath and home design and remodeling really are my specialty, so to say. And I really enjoy teaching people how to do PR themselves because it's not as hard as some people think. And my goal in creating a program that can do that is just so everybody has access to PR, even if they cannot afford to hire a publicist or a PR agency. Well, let's jump in. So we are here to talk about how you can, okay, now we have to fix the slide. What we recommend you focus on in terms of your PR and marketing over the course of next year. What really this session is intended to give an overview of the different elements that we think are critical for you to elevate your business and your brand so you can get the clients that you want, better clients, more high value projects. Our content is always intended for people in the design and remodeling industry. It also works for people from other home-focused industries and other small businesses as well. So how we're going to run this is I'm going to talk a little bit about the PR aspects that we are covering in designer discussions, and Jason's going to focus on the digital marketing of it. And I'll give you an overview of all the topics that are included. So we'll talk about the monthly topics that we cover in the academy, which really we have identified as being the critical elements of a successful PR and marketing strategy for business in the design and remodeling space. Here's just an overview of what that all entails. And don't worry about the details. We'll definitely communicate this with you directly. We talk about how to get quick press. We bring in guest speakers that talk about topics like AI, sales, social media. So AI is definitely an important topic, and our good friend Maria Martin covers that. Then we'll talk more about pitching media, about efficient content creation, email marketing, website strategies, and SEO essentials, social media. This is a brand new training that we have this year. It's about press releases, which are becoming increasingly important. I'll talk about that. And then, like I said, we'll have guest speakers, another friend of ours who's going to come in and talk about sales strategies. So I think we have a really good program together for next year. And just to get things out of the way, if you're listening to this and if you might want to consider working with us in the future, we just want to put it out there that we created our program specifically so it doesn't take up a lot of time because we know that everybody is busy. So what the schedule looks like is we meet every Friday, except the last Friday of the month, exactly at this time, which is why we're hosting the masterclass at this time. So every first Friday of the month, we teach live a training on the topics that I just went through. Then the following Fridays are sometimes they're workshops, sometimes it's a little bit more training, there's coaching, and there's Q&As. And the goal is to really get people to execute some of the things we teach because you can take in so much training, but if you never actually do something with it, nothing's ever going to happen. So we're making it hands-on, and there's a big accountability aspect to it because you report back to us and also to other people in the group. Then the last Friday, we take a pause so people can catch up or just take a break, basically. If you can't make any of the sessions, the trainings, or the coachings, we always send out a recording that you can listen at your own convenience. And you can always also reach out to us via email. So let's start with the PR topics that I teach in the academy. And I just like to take a little bit of a step back and have us think about what PR really is. It really is PR means that other people are talking about you and places they trust. I just came across this pseudo definition and I really like it. It's very easily understandable, and it just means that we're talking about magazines, newspapers, blogs, TV, radio, anything else that lends the third party credibility from a trusted source. So it's very different from advertising. And I talk about this as well in our trainings and during our calls a lot of the time. It really what differentiates it is the credibility that you get through these earned placements. So why does this matter? It really means that effective PR it's not just for vanity, there's real business benefits to it. It can increase the number of qualified calls. It can boost your Google search results, and Jason's going to talk about this. It makes your sales conversations easier because people already trust you before they actually come talk to you. When somebody sees you featured in a publication, and they trust you, that's already half the job is already done, right? So we'll talk about the three things that I teach in the academy. And I talk about how to get quick press, like the easiest way to get media mentions, basically. I talk about media pitching in general and specifically focus on pitching regional media because that's what really drives business for design and remodeling companies. And then I talk about press releases and how those can help with SEO and visibility in general. I picked these three topics. There's a lot of other things you can do in PR, but these they work nicely together, and it's really symbiotic with the rest of marketing because you can't do PR in a vacuum or marketing in a vacuum. The two really have to work together very, very closely to get maximum efficiency. And the other reason I picked them is they're easy to implement. You don't have to be a PR professional to do that. And with a little bit of effort and some guidance, anybody can do this. Okay, I'm going to have to turn this guy off because it interferes with. I'm not sure I can. Oh, no, I could. Here. There we go. Hide until next visit. All right, here we go. So, like I had said, I talk a lot about what PR really is because, in my experience, people don't really understand it. So, here again's the definition. It's really, we mostly focus on media relations, but it's all about building trust with your audiences. What PR does for you, like I said before, it makes you the go-to expert in your market because it's a huge differentiator. If you are the only company in your area that has an as seen in section on your website and people go shop around thinking about who they want to work with, chances are they're going to pick you because it lends immediate credibility to you if you have been featured in the media. Google and AI also really like media coverage because these are like high authority websites that feed into the algorithm and make you show up first. And it really helps you open doors to better opportunities because people are gonna, your perceived value goes up, your reputation goes up, and it increases your status, and it really, really makes you stand out in a crowd of businesses where almost nobody is doing this. So let's talk about what I call get quick press. This is the first month of the training, and we always kick it off with this because it's it's something that anybody can do and something that can get you really fast results. So what it means is that these are reactive media opportunities. So I lead you to places like some of them are HARO, which stands for Help a Reporter Out. SOS is Source of Sources. Quoted is another platform. Those are really the three that we focus on in the academy. And I lead you to those platforms. You can go look them up and sign up right now if that's really of interest to you. They're great. There's lots of opportunity for especially interior designers. There's lots of media that write articles about this topic. So I go and I find these opportunities for you. I give them to you basically, and you submit answers that the journalists they will take them and include them in the articles and I'll give you some examples of publications where we've seen a lot of success for members of ours. But basically, you supply the answers and then you monitor for coverage, and there you go. You have your first media feature in House Beautiful, Apartment Therapy, Forbes, Better Homes and Gardens. There's lots of media that play in this space. And so this is by far the easiest because it doesn't require you to proactively reach out. You really just go find the requests and you submit answers, and you already have all the experience and the credentials and the knowledge to be qualified. So it's really just a question and answer game. And what is also great is that usually these types of placements, they get turned around really quickly. You may submit tomorrow and the article might come out early next week. It can go really, really fast. It's really fun. Oh, hold on. I need to go farther down. Um, and this is just a quick snapshot of what this could look like because often people just don't have time. So, how much time does this take? And you can do this in 10 minutes, right? You know where to look for the queries. You see if there's any that are relevant to you. You sit down, and you write as you speak. You don't overthink it. You write it down in an email and you hit send. It can easily be done in 10 to 15 minutes, I would say, per submission that you make. There's a lot of training in the academy about how to submit these, but it's basically you just answer the questions that the journalists have. You don't add in things that are irrelevant. Journalists are super busy, so you're straight to the point. You talk as you speak. You're not writing a novel or a poem, and you send it to them. It's really that easy. And then you set up Google Alerts to make sure you capture the coverage, which that's a good practice to have in general. Have a Google Alert for your business name, and your own name so you capture the coverage when it comes in. We have seen success with this. A number of our members have gotten features in their first month in our program. Actually, one of them, I specifically remember two that stand out. One that got featured in the Wall Street Journal in the first month in the program. That's pretty spectacular. And then another one of our members who didn't, they didn't have they didn't do it the first year in the program, and then they re-signed up for the second one. And once they actually started submitting, they got a feature in Forbes. I think it was in the first month as well, and they were just blown away. So this is definitely very doable for everybody, and the first thing we teach in the academy. And then the second topic I teach, and these are not back to back, so we do quick press first, and then there's other topics. We space them out throughout the year. So you're not getting 3 months of PR and then 3 months of digital marketing. We stack them so it makes sense and they build on each other. The second one I teach is about media pitching. And it's focused on regional media, but the basic process is the same. So I teach you how to put together a pitch. I teach how to find the right contacts to reach out to, what types, like how to pick a project that's media friendly, how to figure out other angles that are interesting to the media, how to build in local angles into your project or your idea to make it more relevant for the outlet or the journalist that you're pitching. And the reason I focus on regional is because in our industry, getting a print placement still is sort of the gold standard. It's just amazing. And once you have a print placement, you can use that for years. You don't need to get 5 placements every year. You get one or two a year, and you can use those over and over and over again. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And regional media are read by your regional audience, and that's usually the potential clients that you're looking for. So local readers become local clients. And once they see you in the magazine, people call it free advertising, and it's kind of what it is. But it's better than that because people know it's not advertising and it has so much more credibility. So we focus a lot on regional magazines because they're always looking for content, and If you're a designer or a remodeler in the area, you are a perfect source and you have content that they want. We just have to package it the right way for them to receive it. And basically, when I say a pitch, it sounds maybe obscure, but it's really just an email. It's an email, and I have basic pitch templates that we put together during the curriculum, and to make sure that they're to the point, they have the right information, not too much and not too little. For instance, never. Don't write a novel, right? Keep it short. Like, don't send attachments, send everything in a Dropbox or a Google Drive link. So there's various tips that I share to make your pitch, the chances of your pitch being received, more successful. And one of the things I always say is, not every quick press submission you do is going to result in coverage. Not every time you pitch a regional editor, you're going to get a 4-page feature. It's like it's like offering coffee to people. It's like when maybe they just had coffee, or maybe they're not in the mood for coffee. They normally like coffee, but you're not in the right place at the right time with the right kind of coffee. So you just keep coming back with fresh coffee and you keep offering it to them. And at some point, because they do like coffee, so you just have to wait for the right opportunity. And it if you keep doing that, I guarantee you will be successful with regional media pitching as well. The third topic that I included this year is about press releases. And press releases used to be something that big companies they make announcements. It's, like when Apple launches a new product, or I don't know, anybody when Kohler Company launches a new $7,000 toilet or things like that. But it's really not like that anymore. Press releases are a good vehicle for businesses of any size, really, to get visibility. And they become more important because of the way search has changed. The Google algorithm loves press placements. AI search is even more likely to pull in mentions of you that are on trusted media sites. So having a press release out there is just, it's easy to do. You control the content. This really is all within, you're not dependent on a journalist to accept your pitch, but you can write it, you can distribute it, and you know where it's going to go, and you're going to have this coverage. And this is why I recommend even smaller businesses do that now. Basically, what a press release is just it's a news announcement, and it can be just an introduction of your business with a newsy angle. It can be about you expanding into a new area. Maybe you won an award. It could be about a super notable project that you have worked on. It can be about making a big new hire. It can be about a pro bono community project that you're involved in. Maybe you're opening a showroom. It can be about a lot of different things. It could even just be talking about trends that you predict for next year. So there's lots of different topics that are options and that we brainstorm in the academy. And then so this is a basic format of what a press release looks like. And honestly, these days with AI, chat will tell you exactly what your press release needs to look like. You still want to have somebody look at it who knows what they're doing, just to make sure it doesn't read too too much AI, and it still is relevant and easily readable. But it's very easy to do. Then the way to distribute your press release is you put it on your website. It's almost like a blog post. Then you can send it to your local media, which will already have this media list. Another way to do is to put it on a newswire, which sounds a little intimidating, but basically it's a platform that you feed it in and it distributes it to 200 different media outlets that automatically pick it up. This is paid, obviously, but there are options that are very affordable and it gives you a lot of media coverage at once. So it's a really fun and effective thing to do. So that is the third one I talk about. Here's a little summary of the three that I talked about. And let me just see here. And I pulled some of the example outlets that our clients have been featured in. We just recently actually, we've had a couple of people that got picked up by Architectural Digest, which is super cool. House Beautiful, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Better Homes and Gardens, a variety of regional magazines and outlets, and other B2B like Kitchen and Bath Business, Bob Vila. There's a lot. There's a huge breadth of outlets that we've covered with our clients. It's always really fun. I always say it's like Christmas when you find yourself on Google in a media piece. And with that, those are the three topics that I cover in detail. And I'm going to hand it over to Jason to talk about the digital marketing part.
All right. If you will hand me the screen,
Oh, yes. Let me
I was,
stop sharing.
so I'm not asking you to
Yes.
change slides. No problem. Okay. So you went through all of your stuff. I'm going to go high level over some of the topics that I'll be talking about in the academy. Like we said, I'm going to talk a lot about what's happening within the digital marketing world. And I always like to start with branding. And that is where a lot of designers and remodelers believe they have it done correctly, but not quite. And it's about making sure that wherever your message is consistent across all channels, website, social media, anything handout, anything in print, anywhere and everywhere. So that's what I like to start with, is just the branding aspect. And oftentimes we'll hear from a lot of designers and remodelers that want to go after the higher end clientele. And that often starts with the brand, making sure that you have consistent messaging across all platforms. And there's some other things that we talk about in making sure you go after that. Also, where Miriam is concerned with the PR, that's also vital, because having press mentions also helps in that. So that's where I like to start. And I actually talk a lot about the branding aspect, and not just on the website side, but making sure you have brand guidelines. So if you were to ever work with either an agency, or if you ever hire someone, and they actually know what your brand is all about and how it should be communicated to your ideal client. And that's also a exercise we do, is identifying who your ideal client is, because what I like to say in the marketing world, if you're trying to market to everyone, you're actually marketing to no one. So we want to make sure that you have that ideal client ironed out. Everyone that's either in your shop that's working with you knows who that is, knows about your branding. So that's where I start there. That's where I like to start. And then after that, I get into web design. So that I spend a lot of time on making sure that your website is up to par, because that is where, when you reach out to prospects, they're going to do research in you in two areas. One on your website, the other on your social media. That's where they're going to do their initial research to determine, are you the designer or remodeler that they would work with. And so making sure that your website is up to par is vital. And we spend time heading through all the fundamentals that you have to have on your website. And we also talk about, once you have the fundamentals down, how you need to attract them and how you need to message to them the right way to have them convert. Because yes, you want to have a lot of traffic, but you want to have that traffic convert. And so that's what we also talk about. I have an example with a client we have in Houston, and I'll get into more details in the academy on this. But we took his website, and it was just a plain website, and we didn't do any SEO to it or anything. And I'm going to talk a little bit about SEO in a minute as well. But we didn't do any SEO or any of that to the website. We just made alterations and we made enhancements to his site to make it easier for the end user to convert. And within a month, his conversions jumped by like 20 to 25% just by making some simple adjustments to the website. And that's what we'll talk about. And last year, when I talked about website, some of the members, we went over their website and I handed them suggestions on what they need to change and how they need to alter, and they saw success from that. So I like to start with the branding and the website, because the website is the hub. That's where you want to draw all of your traffic to. And this is a quick analogy. This was in 2019. I had a designer come to me in panic because they ran all of their traffic to their social media platform. They had a Facebook business profile, and they ran all their traffic to that. They ran ads in there, and if you don't know anything about social media, they're always changing their policies. And so if you do not read that and you run ads the wrong way, you can get your account shut down. So they had their account shut down for like 6 weeks, and they were in a panic because that's where all their traffic was. That's where they drew everybody to. So that's when we created a website. And I like to use that designer as an example to say that you want to always draw everybody to your website, because that's your hub, because you own that. You don't own Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of those other platforms, and they could shut those down at any time. But with your website, that's your hub. So that's where you should always start. So that's where I like to start on that aspect. Okay. And then once we have actually talked about the website, we get into SEO, which, if you do not know, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And so we talk about that. And I actually hear a lot from, designers and prospects and out there that they've heard SEO is dead. SEO is not dead, it's just evolving. And what's happening with AI search is just enhancing what is happening, because at the end of the day, how you get found on AI search, a lot of the foundation that you do in SEO can help you get found on AI search. But one of the big parts of AI search now is what Miriam talked about, is the press releases and being mentioned in press, because that's what, when you're on Chat GPT, Gemini, or any of those, and you say, let me see, a designer near me, they're going to pull from search, but they're going to also look at the media mentions. And so any of the press releases and all that Miriam talks about helps out. So what we teach holistically will help you out on the SEO side. And I spent some time actually talking about what SEO is at the basic level, and then how do you use it to enhance your site. And so there's just a few things here. We talk about how SEO works, and not all of the technical jargon, but having you understand the basics that you can do without having to hire an agency to do it on your behalf. Okay. So we talk a lot about that. And then we talk about why SEO is vital, and really search. Even though AI has come into to play, you have ads, you have traditional marketing. Overall, search is one of the best long-term marketing strategies, because it helps build up brand awareness and who you are, and that just helps you overall in your market. And so that's why we talk about that. We talk about how to handle it on your website, and we about when you talk to an agency, they're going to talk to you about a lot of what's happening on page, about the keywords. They'll talk about meta tags, meta descriptions, and all of that technical jargon. But a lot of what happens in SEO is what happens off page, and we talk a lot about that. Like I said, the press release and the mention helps out with a lot of that. It's a lot about link building and all, and I break all of that down into its simplest forms to help you understand if you are to do this on your own, what you need to do. And if you hire somebody, if you hire an agency or somebody in-house to do it, you actually know what they're doing. So they can't talk over your head saying they're doing X, Y, Z, and you understand, no, that's not what you need to do. You need to do this. Okay. So we talk about that. I'll go over the checklist. And at the basic level, we always start with the Google Business Profile. And I get into how if you spend time with that, and not a lot of time, but after about 90 days of activity with the Google Business Profile, you should see leads start to come in and calls just from the Google Business Profile without doing any of the SEO aspect. Okay, so I talk a lot about that. And then I also spent some time on social media, which I know most designers know about when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to Facebook, and now TikTok and other platforms. And what we're going to do this year, one of my social media main people, my strategist, Drea, I'm going to have her come in and explain a lot about what's happening in the industry now and what you need to do as opposed to wasting time. Because with social media, if you are not doing it right, you can waste a lot of time because, and I'm gonna get into these are all of the platforms that we talk about here, but here's the slide I want to show. That what a lot of designers and remodelers don't know is that unless you put money behind a lot of the posts, nobody ever sees it. So if you have 100 people in your audience, this is just showing you on average how many people in that audience actually see it. So within like Instagram, like around 8 to 9% of your audience see what you post. Okay. So we're going to talk about strategies to have that number tick up without having to put money behind it. And we're going to talk about some strategies there, but also having you understand that you don't have to post every day. And that's what I hear a lot about. Do I have to post every day? No. Mainly, and I'll get into this within the academy when we talk about social media. Really, you only have to post around 4 to 5 times a month, really, to have traction. And I'm going to get into how and why you need to do that. But you don't have to post every day. And honestly, sometimes it'll hurt you if you do post every day. Because on Instagram, their algorithm is based on views. So if you post a lot and nobody is actually viewing it, it will actually detract from what's happening. So we'll get into all that when we talk about social media. But I just wanted to show this slide to show that a lot of the times when you post, unless you put money behind it, really nobody sees what you post. Okay. Then I'm gonna get into email marketing. So I'll spend some time there. I've had a lot of people ask why email, why is email even a marketing tactic now? Email is one of the marketing tactics that can help you have success. And what email does, it helps you stay top of mind. This is one of the tactics that helps you with the follow-up, because often when you talk to a prospect, 9 times out of 10, they may not buy instantly. And that's just not always how it happens. Sometimes they need to hear what you say and then compare it to your competitors and other designers or whatever. And what helps with a lot of that is the follow-up. And email is a part of that because it helps you stay top of mind. Just one example here, we have a designer here that we ran their email campaign. This was about 2 or 3 years ago. And so when we started to work with them and they had an email campaign, they hated she she was a well-known designer and she hated it. And she says, I've done email for over a year. It never works, never got any interest, any clients from email. So when we took it over, we looked at it and we saw that it was all about her. So she's a well-known designer, but in the email it was all about her. So what we shifted it to and what I'm gonna actually talk about in this month is about the 80-20. 80% value, 20% self-promotion. So you have to put 80% value because nobody will care what you have to say until they know you care. So you got to know what you have to actually share information that they want to know about. And then they'll be open to what you have to. Once we change that around, in about 4 or 5 months after that, she had her first sale. And then every month after that, for about 6 months, she had a sale every month just from email. And she was amazed by what had happened, but it was just how we organized everything and structured everything and how we aimed it. We understood who our ideal client is, made sure to have messaging around what they wanted to hear, and then after that, she was able to talk about who she was and what she did, and then they were open to it. So that's just a little about email, and I just want to use that example because I often hear email is dead. No, that it's not. It's just if you're using it the wrong way, but if you use email the right way, it can be beneficial and helpful. Okay. So these are just a little things we talk about on how to segment the list. In past years, it used to be hard to actually segment a list and it used to take more time. Now with AI, and we can actually help you to segment the list easier and create one email, change it up a little bit, and then have a list for, you can have a list for clients, you have a list for prospects, have a list for vendors that you work with. And so that way everyone is up to date on what's happening in your world. And it's easy for them, like I said at the start, to stay top of mind, because that is that ideal follow. Okay. So that's something we will talk on here. And then I'll spend time on what you need to avoid. And I'll talk a lot about that then. Okay. And so now I'm gonna hand it back over to Miriam so she can explain what happened. And then, like I said, this is just a high level overview of what I talk about during that time. But we have a special guest throughout the months to help out with sales and other areas as well. Okay.
Here we go. I jumped ahead. I wasn't sure where you would stop.
I
Okay, well,
ended,
yeah,
right, with the member
let's,
voices.
and
Yep.
here's just a few short examples of what members that have been in the program are saying. Robbie, good friend of ours over the years who spent many years with us, right? She said, I highly recommend the program to designers and remodelers just starting out and those with many years of experience like myself. Yeah, she's the one who just got the feature in AD and was super excited because that was her goal all along. Um, Kim is with a remodeling company in Madison, Wisconsin, and she said the group has provided invaluable insights and actionable takeaways, along with accountability, which has helped me make those necessary tweaks and see real results. She was new to marketing when she started her job, and I think it just really helped her get a grip on um, everything that she was charged with. The Russells are in the Twin Cities, and they were in our program for a couple of years also. And said, before joining, I had no idea what was working or what needed improvement in our digital marketing. Now I feel like I can better manage it myself or more confidently delegate, which those are definitely those are both of our goals. It's like either you do it yourself or you're better equipped to delegate it. So, all that being said, maybe you're wondering now, what does this all entail? And of course, what does this cost? So, the reason we did this masterclass is to give you a little overview, and there is a special offer with a bonus that is only available for people who are watching this masterclass. So the offer is only good today. It expires at midnight tonight, and today is Friday the 14th, right? So what we're offering is 50% off the entire um, the entire program, and you can either pay monthly as you go, or you can pay for the whole year ahead of time, which gives you an additional 10% off. Then, and this is the super special just for this masterclass audiences. We're offering you one done for you media placement. So when I was talking about quick press, it's something I teach you how to do yourself, but the offer for this masterclass is that I will go and get one placement for you. And I can't guarantee that it's going to be an AD or House Beautiful. It might be on Homes and Gardens or the Realtor or apartment therapy. It could be anywhere because we're not buying these placements. We're actually working and proactively earning them for you. But regardless, you have the guarantee that you are going to get one official media placement. If you look around in the industry, if that's something you want to have somebody do, like a PR agency or a publicist, they charge $500 plus for these types of placements. So we feel like that's really a pretty good deal. And you're like, okay, so what does this mean in terms of dollars? And we have this all listed out here for you. It's our regular monthly price is $497, and you get the training, you get materials we share, you get live coaching sessions with Jason and me and the experts that we bring in. Um, and the offer that is on the table right now is 50% off of that. And I did the math for you over here. So that means it's just under $250 a month. Or for 12 months, it comes to a little over 2,500, which overall is savings. Plus, you get the free done for you media placement. Like I said, this is only good today. So if you're interested, please sign up. We'd love to have you. The coupon code is going to be off 50 bonus. I put the sign up link in the chat, and you'll all also receive an email after this class with the sign up link and the information in case you didn't catch it. So that's it. Obviously, we'd love for you to get your first media win with my help and join the Academy today. We do know that this program works, and there's hardly anyone out there in your market, most likely, that's doing one or two or three of these things. So this is an opportunity for you to stand out and elevate your business, get better clients and better projects. With that, I think we're done. And if there are questions, we're open to taking questions right now. I'm going to stop the recording.